want the freedom to spend more time with your loved ones, travel the world, live spontaneously? Get ready, because the Chip Justice Show is here. Join Dr. Pat Basili and Chip Justice every month as the Positive Change Institute can help you build meaningful success, embrace life and love, and realize the creativity in you. Living a life you love is the end game in this inspirational and empowering show. Positive changes for a life you'll love. And now here's Chip and Dr. Pat.
Hey, everybody. We are so excited for today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning us in and turning us on. Chip Justice, has been somebody that I've gotten to know over these past several months. And, part of what that means is, you get to see what people are really passionate about. When we take a look and we think about our lives, we think about the things in our lives that get us all fired up or the things in our lives that kind of drag us down. The idea of life is to keep whatever it is we're doing, however it is we're doing the work, to keep it at a vibration that's going to emanate out into the world in a way that people are going to know that you are in the zone of positive change. And that's what Chip does. Today's show, Flip Your Bottom Barometer. I love that. Flip your bottom barometer. And today, what does that even mean? Well, he's going to take us on a journey and talk with us about, look, if you are there, what can you know? What can you do that can be done? Now, how does he know this? He's a highly successful, accomplished entrepreneur, former U.S. Marine, somebody that's not only gone to school, but has now said yes to teaching others. And beyond all of that, works with people worldwide so that each and every person understands their unlimited potential in the arena, the high vibration of positive change. Now, having said that, he's also the founder of Positive Change Institute, and you're going to find out more about that. But when your barometer is hit in the bottom, when you are at a low point, what can we do? Chip, it's great to have you here.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Love being on this show. It's so much fun. Every time that we get together, it's absolutely a pleasure. So thanks so much.
This idea about low barometer, I mean, all you need to do is say it. And I know people are thinking, I know what she's talking about. I know what he's talking about. But sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't know when we're hitting a bottom. Or what's got us crazy, right? What's got us in this place where we are feeling very, very high or very, very low? What is it about life that causes us to fluctuate up and down and sideways, ticks us off, and so forth?
Well, yeah, thanks, Pat. And the reason why I talk about a barometer, it's it's a scientific method. It's a way of capturing information and then being able to make a decision based upon that. If the barometer is lowering, you know that a storm's getting ready to come.
Yeah.
And the same applies to you as an individual. You know that whenever you start feeling down and disappointed with whether it's your friends, your family, or yourself, really, and that's the key, it's feeling down with yourself. The world starts
Yeah.
spiraling down. And really, the whole goal is to spiral up. If you keep spiraling down, going down into the deep, dark abyss of water, you're going to drown.
Yeah.
And the same applies to understanding this world that we live in and the people that are around you, and understanding the people, process, and technologies used to help you become a better person, to maximize the positive side of every situation.
It's really interesting. I was watching something on television the other day about the Titanic, and some of the new theories about the Titanic, everything from, how did it go down, the people, who knew what. And you know what I'm struck by? None of that really mattered. These scientists were really interested in where was the stress point? Where was the stress point, right? The
Right.
idea of, we all saw the movie Titanic, right? where that just famous last scene, the boat is doing this and it breaks in half. And this one guy said, no, 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 no. I don't think that's what happened. I think the stress point was over here. I think it broke at a different place. And I love this metaphor because isn't that what we're talking about when we're talking about the science of a barometer? Aren't we talking about things which will cause something to go up, something to go down, something to break?
Yeah, absolutely. And also understanding the various impacts that will make that barometer go
Oh,
up or make that barometer go
mm,
down.
mm,
You know, I'm often reminded, I talk to a lot of whether it's CEOs, executives, or whomever, and just the everyday Joe. I've found that the people that are happy, the people that are satisfied, the people that are successful are really in tune with themselves. They understand the world that's around, the impacts that are created by those around you, and being able to empathize, because I often say we're not alone in this world, and you can't be successful alone in this world. You have to work, reach out, talk to, socialize with people, and understand the technologies. It used to be a long time ago, writing was a technology
mm-hmm,
that
mm,
people were amazed, and they said that that would destroy humanity. And as we continue to develop and become more technologically advanced and technologically informed, we start to learn that there are different ways to see things, different ways to do things. And that's the whole purpose of understanding or flipping your barometer around. Because now that once you understand how to measure how you're doing, how you can be effective, how you can become more you, become more of a real person, then you can flip that barometer around and start spiraling up.
It's really interesting about what becomes our trigger points, Chip. And I think this is really something that you've talked about before. Some of the things that we look at in our lives. But I mentioned earlier that you were in the Marines, right?
Right. Yes.
And I can't even imagine trigger point. I mean, just saying I was in the Marines puts a whole new meaning to the word trigger points, right? And I'm not
Right.
really talking about a weapon. I'm talking about the emotional aspect of not just having that particular job, right? Because that's what that is, but also how we learn whether or not our emotions should be applied here or should be applied there. And what was it that you actually did learn from the Marine Corps?
Well, and there's so many things that I learned from Marines, as well as several other things that I've done in
Mhm.
my life. But a lot of it all goes back to the Marine Corps. And we start off with uh, as soon as I get out of bed, the first thing I try to do, at least if the bed's empty, if there's no
Mhm.
one in it, first thing I try to do is make the bed.
Mhm.
Why? Because that's the first challenge, the first task done within 30 seconds after I've gotten up. So those positive reinforcements, those uh, advances, those slight wins, those are all positive forward movements. It's spiraling up that I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what sets you up for success.
Yeah.
You understand that tomorrow is another day, and you're going to get up and make your bed again, and you plug along and do the best you can, because that's really all you can do. You can't do any more than the best you can do. And a lot of people don't realize that. They look at that as a trigger. Oh no, my head's going to explode, because they're in information overload. And really, you don't have to worry about 100% of the stuff coming into your head. In
Mhm.
fact, you are very good as a human in filtering out all of the negative, or filtering out what it is that you don't want to listen to. I mean, you learn how to do that in when you were in elementary school. You learn how to tune out your teacher. Well, the same could be applied for tuning out Facebook. Facebook's a perfect example. people go to Facebook and uh, they think that they're going to be better, stronger, smarter. I guess I don't know why exactly they go to Facebook, but there's a lot of good. There's a lot of positive there. You can connect. You can socialize. It's an extension of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to live in you. Don't live through others. Don't try to compare yourself through others, because the more you compare, the more you want, the more you start thinking that you're not enough. And really you are enough.
Mm.
You can go be anything you want to do if you set your mind to it, and you commit, wholeheartedly commit, and believe that you are going to come out successful in the end.
I love
Why?
what you're saying. I love what you're saying because this is so important to really get really at the core of this. I love what you said about I wake up in the morning and I make the bed. What it reminds me of is the idea of doing that thing that is right in front of you. Do that thing that's right in front of you. It's really funny because I was sitting before the show and I'm getting ready for the show and I'm thinking about I just made a great pot of organic coffee. I love it. But, Chip, I had not had my protein drink today. And so I'm thinking, wait a minute, I got the coffee, I got the protein drink. So what do? I have a moment of brilliance. As I've got my organic half and half, I've got my delicious coffee, and I take my protein powder and I put it in the cream before I put it in the coffee. And all of a sudden now I'm sitting and drinking this fabulous mocha, because it's chocolate, mocha organic ingredients, because I had a moment where I stopped. See, and that's what I think I'm hearing you say. See, if you get up out of bed, you have to have a moment of consciousness where your mind is stopped long enough to know, I just got up out of bed.
Right.
Oh, let's just make it. Now, we're going to take a short break when we come back. This may seem simple or understated to you all listening, but I will tell you that if you look at any successful person in the world, and what does success mean? Chip's going to define it when we come back. But anybody that is living their dream, there's one foot that got put in front of another, that got put in front of another, got put in front of another. And what you said was so important. Do you know why? Because they actually believe they could put one foot in front of another and in front of another. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, does it matter how you make your bed? Or is it just making the bed? That's the point. We'll be right back.
Please don't worry, my brother. In this world we are all the same. We must find peace.
Almost everyone at some time in their lives ask themselves, what am I? Most of our questions are ego-generated and simply don't address the problem of our false self. It's time to relax your ego and embody your soul. Dr. Dan Cohen, neurologist, inventor, and author, has created tools to awaken, a new way to transform from who you thought you were into what you truly are. Visit toolstoawaken.com today.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Are you feeling broken from your relationships? Are you second-guessing yourself about friends, family, and lovers? Tune in to the hit show that's creating a buzz in the love-seeking community. Love Seeker Radio, finding love for your authentic self with renowned love coach Heather Lynn. Tired of dissatisfying relationships? Kiss them goodbye and power up your love seeker energy. Coach Heather Lynn reminds you that you can just be you, the beautiful and perfect you. Visit heatherlynncoaching.com to learn more.
The doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Naturopathic doctor, founder of the Martha's Vineyard Holistic Retreat, and author of the New York Times bestseller 21 Pounds in 21 Days, Dr. Ronnie DeLuce has helped tens of thousands of people, including celebrities and athletes, with her message of lifestyle change. Now Dr. Ronnie DeLuce wants to help you. You too can be saved. Email Dr. Ronnie DeLuce at info@ronniedeluceonradio.com and visit mtheholisticretreat.com. Dr. Ronnie DeLuce, your partner in wellness.
We must find it together. We start far away from your heart. You've got the good vibration.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Chip Justice Show. I'm so excited because Chip is going to be branching out doing his own show live without me. I'm going to have anxiety about it, separation anxiety. But I will tell you that I am so honored to see Chip. What has happened in a short period of time? Here's what I know. I know we're going to talk about this, but I just want to say this. People think that transformation, change, like my old minister used to say, used to take a long time. No, I'm looking at what have we done with Chip Justice right now. So let's take a moment to tell everybody about the website. And we should just do a show about the journey of the website because it does have to do with the barometer.
Well, and it absolutely does. You know, and we talk about, all right, and you and I have talked a lot over the last months about learning and about how we're not successful alone. You know, so my website, by the way, chipjustice.com, it's a great website. People should really try to go there as often as possible because hopefully you're going to find some inspiration and you're going to realize that you're not alone in this world. Just like I understand, I'm not alone. You know, there's a reason why my website is so great, and it's because there's a ton of great people that supported me in the development and in the creation and in making it better. You know, I'm often reminded, again, about successful people. What do they have in common? They have a coach. They have someone that they can go talk to make themselves better, to make themselves more effective. And that's the whole purpose behind chipjustice.com. It's someplace where you can go to brighten your day, to make yourself a little bit more effective, to start learning and understanding more about you. And by the way, if that's not enough, there's also tons of information. Just Google Chip Justice and you're going to find Pinterest and eBay and probably everywhere else on the internet that you go. I'm kind of out there. And the reason why is we live in a digital age. We live in a technological society where we can be connected all the time. Now, you don't have to be connected all the time. You can choose to turn that button off and not be connected to chipjustice.com, or you can hang out there all day. That's the great thing about technology. It actually gives you more choices. It makes you more of who you are and who you want to be.
Yeah, I got to tell you something. This whole thing we're doing here with the video and Justin pushing all the right buttons and, you know, Miss Jessica, you know, just never giving up on. I will tell you, I made a declaration about 5 years ago, and I said, I will never do this. I will never do the video thing. I did. But here's why. And this is what you're going to talk about in this segment. Here's why. I kind of came up the ranks, you know, not in the military, but I'll tell you, I was raised by what do they call them? Military brats, my aunt and uncle.
Right.
Captains, and I don't even know what they were. But here's the thing that I learned, and maybe you can talk about this. What I learned is if you're going to do something, right, don't shoot for the bottom. Don't aim
Right.
for the bottom. I heard someone at a meeting the other day say, you know what? I aim for the bottom. And I'm telling you, I started to sweat. Now, you tell me what happens, Chip Justice, in the world of positive change when we aim for the bottom. Tell me about that part of the barometer.
Well, and this is thanks for the time because that's exactly where I wanted to go. It is part of the barometer. I talked about spiraling down. And when you start taking those negative actions and start looking at things from at the very bottom, and it's a long ways to look to the very top. Sometimes you might even break your neck looking to the top because you're so far down at the bottom. Now, maybe you want to be at the bottom, but I find that very hard to believe. Most people want the best for themselves and for their family. The challenge is they're often afraid of changing that barometer. They continue to look at things in a negative perspective, or they continue to look at from the bottom of the pile. I started at the bottom of the pile too, long time ago. I was a truck driver, cross country. Been
My
to
dad,
Fort,
my dad too. So I know a lot about the truck driving thing.
right.
That's hard work.
Oh, very hard work. And I probably did a lot of things that you're not supposed to do, like run over hours. And that was before the satellites came into the trucks. But I tell you so that way you can understand how I was there. I absolutely can empathize with people. I was at the bottom. Not only did I drive truck, I also rode on the back of a garbage truck for a while. And flipped burgers in McDonald's. And I've done a whole bunch of other, whether meaningless, small, mundane, call them whatever you want.
Can I ask you a question? I know this is
Yeah.
not part of our little script here, but I
Yeah,
got to ask this question because you and I have such similar paths. I mean, I sold hot dogs from a hot dog cart, I cleaned fish, and when I moved to Seattle, I was floundering so much, my friend dragged me out to sell door to door vinyl siding. I was the opener. I got bit by dogs. Here's
Mhm.
the question. Having said all that, what did you learn, Chip? What did you learn?
Well, not every dog has fleas, for one. There's a lot of good dogs out there. There's a lot of nice dogs, but there's also a lot of mean dogs out there.
That's
And
right.
you know, learning how to read people, reacting appropriately. I'm reminded of some recent world tragic events that we had.
Yes.
And if you're thinking, by the way, that I'm talking about Paris, it's much bigger, folks.
Mhm.
In 24 hours time, we had something like, I want to say it was in the neighborhood of 1,500 plus people that died to terroristic events around the world.
Yeah.
It wasn't just France.
Right.
And really it's understanding that I don't want to be part of the bottom. I don't want to be worried about uh, the struggles and challenges of life, because they're always going to be there. They're not going to go the way. I focus on forward. I focus on how to get out of my situation. I assess where I'm at and move forward. Get rid of the baggage. I leave it there, drop it in the middle of the street.
Mhm.
I don't hold on to it. Now, there's a lot of people, oh, I got to have all my stuff. And I would ask, does that stuff really make you you? And that really strikes with people. They're not often sure how to answer that, because I just talked about how Facebook is an extension of you. But that's not necessarily a thing. It's a representation, kind of like a flag. It shows and represents who you are. Now, just like our US flag, I wouldn't necessarily want to go step on it, or I don't even wear it. Now, I see women wearing our flag in bikinis, and I'm like, ooh, that's supposed to be nice. But personally, I don't do that, but I don't get up bent out of shape about it, because everybody has a different understanding, a different spin, but we are in this big world together. And
Yeah,
we
and
have
you
to
know, let's
work with
point
one
something
another.
out though here. Let's point something out. I love you're talking about this. I love this. Bruce Springsteen, my neighbor in Jersey, uh, he made such a big deal out of being born in the USA. And one of the things I love about what you're talking about is we live in a country today that if I felt like I wanted to wear a bikini, now please, you all do not visualize this. But I'm just saying, if I was out there and I decided I wanted to wear this, guess where we live? We live in a country where we can. See, this is what I love about your topic because we live in a place where I'm not saying this is for everybody because I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to be broke growing up in the projects. But here's what I want to say. We are such a place of choice right now. And there's so many things that we don't remember about that. And this is what you're talking about. I want to take a break. And when we come back, I love this dialogue about what can we choose? What can we step into? What are the world of unlimited possibilities that you're talking about? I mean, look at you, a Marine, a truck driver, hot dogs. Look at us today, Chip. Here
Yeah.
we are in a world where, by the way, soapbox for a minute, all of media is owned by 6 giant
Right.
corporations. We do not air our shows on those corporations. We are not owned by them. And guess what? That is why you and I, Chip, can have this conversation today
Right.
without some producer hitting a button and saying, do not talk about that. When we come back, Chip is going to take us on a journey. I'm loving this. Take us on a journey. What will we choose? What is it about today and our success and our lives that we are just not getting because we are very comfortable in a low barometer? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Chip Justice.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Calling all dreamers. Are you living your dream life? Actualize your possibilities with Life Coaching Radio and your host, Deb Stetzer. If you're feeling stuck in a rut, Deb is here to help you turn your dreams into a reality. Life Coaching Radio. Dream it, live it, be it. To learn more about Deb, visit www.mylifecoach.us.
Do you want the freedom to spend more time with your loved ones? Travel the world? Live spontaneously? Get ready because the Chip Justice Show is here. Hosts Dr. Pat Basile and Chip Justice can help you build meaningful success while embracing life. Living a life you love is the end game in this new, inspirational, and empowering show. Positive changes for a life you'll love. Tune in every month on TransformationTalkRadio.com and visit PositiveChangeInstitute.co for more information.
Tune in to the Angels and Answers Psychic Radio Show with clairvoyants Artie Hoffman and Sky Siegel every Thursday for a 2-hour show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio. Artie and Sky deliver spiritual and motivational messages with passion and a sense of humor. Call in 800-930-2819 for live and on-air readings. Visit artiehoffman.com and skyofangels.com.
My dream is to end homelessness.
My passion is living a green life.
My dream is to end poverty.
My passion is volunteering.
My passion is making a difference.
My dream is to cure Lyme disease.
My passion is rebuilding communities.
My passion is helping those in need.
My passion is caring for the elderly.
My dream is to find a cure for cancer.
My dream is to leave a better world for my children.
We all have that special passion, that lifelong dream that drives us to live our lives with meaning and to create a better world. No matter what drives you, we can all make an impact. Dr. Pat Basili is helping others make their dreams come true so we can all help make our world a better world.
To learn more about how Dr. Pat is building a community of sharing hope, strength, funds, knowledge, and information, visit abetterworldcrowdfunding.com today. That's abetterworldcrowdfunding.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Chip Justice here. I'm so excited. The Chip Justice Show. Love, love, love watching people give birth to their dreams. There's nothing quite like it, for me. And just to be friends with, I mean, I'm going to get all teary eyed and choked up about it here. Just to know that I get to meet someone like Chip Justice, watch where he's going, his dedication to helping people, what he is committed to, and working with somebody like Chip to get your life out of the bottom and to be where you are. It is a blessing and a gift. Now, for one of you out there, we have something we'd like to give away. We'd like to give away a free 1-hour discovery session with Chip. This is valued at about a $300 deal. And it is the thing that will get you out of the bottom. Stop being a bottom feeder. That's it. 1-800-930-2819. Now, this website we're talking about, all you need to do is go to chipjustice.com, chipjustice.com. I can't even believe we were able to get that URL.
Well, thankfully, no one, not many people have that name, so that's a good part.
Wow. Talking about a lot here. Are we out of the bottom yet, Chip? Help me.
So, and it's funny. That's exactly what people call and say whenever they start off a session, quite often with me, because I talk about it being a discovery session because that's exactly what it is. I have a process in place that I work towards with you in developing a plan of action. So how do we get there? Well, first we talk a little bit about where you're at and your potential and what it is that you're looking to create or develop. And then we'll talk about the various impacts and the results that those actions will have. And we're going to base all of that on your beliefs, something that we talked about earlier, beliefs. There was a point in time, and for all the kids under, let's say 6 years old, everybody put their fingers in their ear right now because we're going to talk about Santa Claus.
Uh-oh.
At one point in time, you truly believed in Santa Claus.
I still do.
And then one day, you woke up and you said, it's that quick. It's that easy that you can change your beliefs. The question is whether you want to hold on to your beliefs. You can be anything you want to be. And I chose not to be a truck driver. I chose not to be a garbage man. I chose no longer to flip burgers at McDonald's. Not because they were bad jobs or crappy jobs, but because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to go do more. I often am not satisfied. And the reason why I'm not satisfied is because there's more out there that I can see, do, learn, touch, feel, taste, whatever it is. There's a whole big world out there to go see. And it's part of taking a little bit of risk. Risk in yourself and a risk in others. We're becoming a society that's fearful of everything, or they are, Monday morning quarterbacks whenever they want to talk about how bad President Obama is or whatever. And, you don't think, or people don't often think about that moment in time for that individual and why they made those decisions. When I talk about decisions that you make, you base them on what you know and the facts that you have in front of you at the time.
In the moment. In
the
that
moment. Right.
Right.
You're
Absolutely.
living in
All
the
of us
moment.
have been there. All of us have done that, right? In
And
that moment.
but how often do they forget about how they were living in that moment? And then they start beating themselves up about, "Oh, I made a bad decision or the wrong choice or why did I do that?" Why I would question why beat yourself up? It's
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah.
Drop your bags in the middle of the street, keep crossing, let somebody else take those bags from you. You don't need to hold on to all that baggage because you are a lot better person than what you realize you are.
I want to ask you about the Positive Change Institute, if I could, for a minute, because
Sure.
we don't really talk enough about it. And the reason I want to talk about it is because if I'm like many people listening to this show, people may think as you and I are here that we kind of did this all by ourselves, that we just woke up one day and we were all about what we're about today. I have to tell you that is not me. I stepped in more potholes, but I learned the benefit of working with coaches. I have to say
Yeah.
coaches because one was never quite enough. I was a handful and I'm still a handful. And I wanted you to talk for a minute though about Positive Change Institute because you're not just talking about let's just change. You're talking about positive change. And
Right.
research has shown that when we take the higher vibration, doesn't matter where we are today, amazing things happen. Tell us about the institute if you could.
So thanks, Pat. So I created the institute because, and you really summed it up exactly how I do every time. We can make any change we want to. Is it positive?
Mm.
And making those positive changes, those positive choices, they're not always easy. It's not the easy road. In fact, more often than not, it's the hard road to take because you have to do a lot of soul searching. You have to figure out a lot about who you are. Now, getting a coach is not about finding a shrink or
No.
getting in your head. A coach is about making you better, helping you figure out your solution, your answer, not that the coach has the answer. And if you have a coach that says they have the answer or all the answers, run. Please run because that's not the purpose of a coach. A coach is there to listen and to be somebody in your corner helping you, making you a better person and challenging you along the way. Because otherwise you don't need a coach. There's no end game to win.
Well, the other thing it says, and you and I joke about this quite a bit off air. People don't get to hear it, so let's joke about it now. The whole idea of old school thinking. Remember when they used to have these big seminars and you'd go to the seminar and there'd be like 1,000 people in the room? That assumes that that is a one size fits all. That assumes that what I'm getting ready to say to all 1,000, all y'all 1,000 people, it's going to be the same for everybody. But that's not what you're talking about because you're talking about in the Positive Change Institute, working with people, meeting them where they are, and helping them get to where they uniquely want to go. That's what I'm saying. That has to happen for each of us.
Absolutely. And I'm reminded of a particular example where I don't want to say I had an inspiration, but I started to really understand how unique I am. And when I say unique, I'm talking about here in the memory.
Mm-hmm.
And because I can stand at one point in place on this earth and I can look and see nothing but sheer beauty and awe and spectacular because there's this vast canyon out in front of me. Somebody else standing right next to me, that very spot in time, they look at it as a death trap. The reason why? Because we're standing on top of a little 1 foot by 1 foot square piece of rock. And that if you move one side or the other, you're going to fall for several thousand, or probably 1,000 meters. It's a long way down. And so I saw beauty. The person right next to me saw death. And that's the sheer power of understanding how unique you are, because you look at things differently than anyone else. And once you understand how unique you are and how differently you think, then you can start putting some process into place on how you're going to cope and how you're going to relate and interact and how you're going to make yourself more successful or better or quicker. But it's really about taking that negative out and turning around and flipping that barometer upside down and putting a little positive effort into it. And the next thing you know, you're in a positive spiral where your entire life starts coming together because you took one positive step. And that's what we do at the Positive Change Institute. We help you identify your first positive step and followed by many, many more, because it doesn't end with just one positive step. It's like we talked about earlier. You have to make your bed every day. Well, every day you have to get out of bed and make that positive step forward, because you can quickly sink backwards into the dark abyss.
And I love this because one of the things we are talking about here is we're talking about what does happen if we take positive action each and every day. After a while, we're not even thinking about it anymore. After a while, we're intuitively knowing what that feels like. We're knowing, wait a minute, if I go down this road, that's not going to feel very good. I'm not going to go over there. And we learn to make choices that are educated, informed, and aligned with a higher vibration. And I think that's really, a lot of what we're talking about. It's not just about, checking a box off on a questionnaire in a coaching platform. It's really about getting on and figuring out, who the heck am I?
Yeah, it's that being aware, because you can't empathize with that person next to you unless you're aware that, one, they are a unique individual. And so let's talk a little bit about, we talked about Paris and how bad that was.
Mm.
And a lot of people today are in a stance of keep out all immigrants or keep out Syrian immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not thinking about those Syrian immigrants who have been running from a war zone for the last 4 years and how they're trying to take their first positive step. So I bring that up because you as an individual also need to realize that you can keep other people from taking their positive step, or you can make it more challenging or hinder their positive step because of action that you took. And that's part of that being aware. When you are aware that, and as an executive, I make decisions all the time. And if I make a decision to put in, let's say, an IT infrastructure, and I spend all of this money, was I aware of all of the people that I had to talk to? Was I aware of the process? Was I aware of getting the money? There are so many things that you have to be aware of. And so that's what I'm getting at is we have to make decisions. And yes, we have to move forward. But those decisions aren't necessarily easy. And taking that easy road, taking the easy way out, often I would ask, did it make you a better person because you skipped on something out of life from which you can learn? There are a lot of things we talked about, my being in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Sure, I could have skipped that part and not given a little service back to the country. But because I took the hard road, the long road around, I actually believe I'm a better person because I wasn't doing it just for me. I was also doing it for the people who live in this great country.
There's a tension about growing. There's a tension that arises about growth. What do I even mean? I don't mean the kind of tension. And, let's go ahead and skip the break because I want to make sure we cover everything here,
Sure.
Chip. And I don't really mean a tension like stress, because that's not what I mean. But there's a tension. Sometimes tension is healthy, right? If you ever watched a tree grow, there's a tension that happens when that tree goes from being a seed, right? And the roots take place and start to, embed themselves in the soil. And there's a tension that happens at that point, right before that young tree pops through, in some cases, some very, very hard soil, right?
Oh, yes.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about allowing ourselves to experience a very healthy tension of growth. Now, this year is a very important year for the Marine Corps, isn't it?
Yes, it is. 240th birthday this year.
I had no idea.
Yeah. we we've been around. We started back in 1775. My Marine Corps came alive. Happens to be one of the cadences that we used to run around for miles on end singing to. But the 240 years of protecting and serving this country, it's also we talk about the positive side of so many things. And unfortunately, there's a negative side to war that often people don't talk about or that they overlook. And that's the wounded veterans, the wounded warriors that went and fought those battles, that lost an arm, a leg, or got a bullet to the head. You know, those numbers are many. And in 240 years, we've had thousands of wounded veterans. Unfortunately, we don't have a system in place that's really good enough for our veterans. And I'm sorry to say this. We have lots of people in this country that love to go to war, but they don't love to talk about their veterans and how they can help them and how they make their veterans hospitals better and more effective and more productive. And I'm also challenged with those same places that don't help our soldiers understand that they're okay. That they have already given more than enough. That they are good with being who they are. Unfortunately, we have a lot of soldiers and former veterans that still think that they're not good enough, that they left part of themselves out on that battlefield. And every day they feel like that. And that's spiraling down. That's why we have 22 suicides every day in this country. It's 22 suicides too many. With 240 years, I applaud you, the Marine Corps. And the Navy just recently had their birthday. I think it was 239 or 238 years or something like that. Although people talk about how the Marine Corps is a department of the Navy, I remind them that we're the men's department of the Navy. So I just want to make sure that all of my brothers and sisters in the Navy realize, hey, Marines is still there to take care of you. No matter how we torment one another, we're there to support one another, just like I am right here, right now, supporting you. And to any of those in active duty military worldwide, our services are free. Let me repeat that again. To anyone in the military worldwide, the services provided by Positive Change Institute is free to you. It's the least we can do. It's not that we are giving you something because you earned it. So please don't look at it as it's something that you're taking a handout. We are giving you something because you're our family and we take care of our family. So thank you and happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps.
Now, how can folks find out more information about this?
Yeah. So there's several ways to go. You can always go to chipjustice.com. Great place to start. Standbesidethem.org is a organization I belong to that I'm a coach with. We have a coach in every state in the U.S. So we have 50 states with 50 or more, with a coach or more in every state. If you need a coach, if you're challenged, if you want to be better, more effective, more whatever, go to standbesidethem.org or chipjustice.com for more information.
Well, and I know that, for many people listening to the show, they can go to the website and also find out about the different levels or the curriculum involved if they were, in fact, wanting to become coaches. Let's talk about that for a little bit, because there's an opportunity for people to learn more about themselves, but also to become a coach.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I partner. The Positive Change Institute partners with the Rayner Institute.
Yes,
another happens to be another proud sponsor in this network. And the reason why I'm partnered with the Rayner Institute because they are there to help you become a coach. In fact, all of the coaches with Positive Change Institute has went to the Rayner Institute for their training. Why? Because you learn about yourself. You learn how you're going to change beliefs, and not just your beliefs, but your clients' beliefs as well. And that is extremely powerful and emotional, and you have to be able to understand how to effectively deal with that. And the Positive Change Institute, we are completely different than anywhere else you go. The reason why, we are there to live with you in that moment, help you create an action plan, a game plan, and go out and get what you want.
Mm. Wow. Chip, this is very, very exciting just to see the evolution of things. And, we started the show talking about this barometer. We started to talk about, this idea of flip your bottom barometer. Flip your bottom barometer. This is an important topic, especially for people that are thinking, I've been trying for years. And I'm just curious for a little bit. How would you suggest people that are listening to the show right now, what would you suggest to them in terms of helping them understand what that next step is, what the action is?
There's probably 50 different ways or 50 even million ways in which to answer this. But the essence is to understand that you are at the center. What you think and what you say determines how you react and who you are. So if you think negatively and you say something negatively, you will be a negative person. In the Positive Change Institute, we help you. We don't tell you anything. We help you to think positively. It turns out to speaking positively, which in turn makes you a more positive person. That's the Positive Change Institute.
I love it. And now we've got something exciting we're going to be talking about next time.
Yeah.
I love this
Yes,
topic.
it is.
Tell everybody about the topic, because this is this is really eating away at folks right here.
Oh, yes. Especially whether you're a baby boomer or a millennial or anything in between.
Yep.
Next conversation, we're going to talk about killing the illusion of retirement. Yeah. Giving birth to the lifestyles that endure. If you want to have some fun, tune in next time. We're going to talk about it.
I love it. For those of you out there, just go ahead and check everything out. And as a matter of fact, you can take a look at what the curriculum is for a Positive Change Institute. Just go over there at chipjustice.com for more information about us. And you didn't tell folks about the cup of coffee with Chip?
Wow. How am I forgetting about that? Well, I certainly have to say cheers to everybody. I've about once a week we come on and we have a 5-minute segment, a little boost of inspiration to help you understand a little bit more about you and to help you become more effective in your life.
I love it. If you can't even say the word retirement, you're not going to want to miss the next show. Thank you guys, all of you, for tuning in, turning on. Chip, thank you for absolutely all you do in the world. And for those of you out there, if you've missed any part of this, remember we will be airing this again later on today, or go to the drpatshow.com or transformationtalkradio.com and download or subscribe. Subscribe to iTunes. We'll see you next time.
Thanks again, all.
You've been listening to The Chip Justice Show. Are you ready to take the next step but still need help? Are you ready to live the life you will love? Contact Chip now. Dr. Pat Basile and Chip Justice will help you build meaningful success, embrace life and love, and realize the success and creativity in you. Living a life you love is the end game in this inspirational and empowering show. Positive changes is how you get there. Thanks for listening. For more information about CHIP and the Positive Changes Institute, visit positivechangeinstitute.co.